driver off the deck for Corey Connors.
Here's driver off the deck for Victor Hovland.
So the driver off the deck. I know you would try this, right?
Oh my, what a shot.
Just to be able to hit it off the deck and get that thing down and fly it in running.
You have to put your foot on the gas. You pull out the driver off the deck and you put it on the green all the way up the hill.
Welcome into another episode of Off the Deck. I'm your host, Josh Decker. Tonight we have Travis Key with us. Travis, how are you?
Man, I'm doing fabulous. Excited to be with you guys. I've enjoyed the podcast so far.
Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. I'm excited to talk to you tonight. I know I'm going to learn a lot of things. But first, tell me about where you live, what's your full-time gig, and then I want to launch into the educational part of our conversation.
So just outside of Birmingham, Alabama, I am in the metropolis of Kimberly, Alabama, which is a little bit north of Birmingham. It's actually a golf black hole, man. There's no golf courses out here. A lot of good golfers, but no courses out here. Been playing all my life, but I've been working for a church for the last 15 years, and almost 15 years, and started a little business a couple of years ago. Well, really about a year and a half ago.
So did you grow up in that area? Did you grow up in Kimberly?
I did. So I grew up in Gardendale, which is kind of like just a little bit south of us, closer to Birmingham. And then played a couple of years of junior college baseball, moved around a little bit, and came back, man. I lived in Coleman for a while as well. So I lived in Coleman for 8 years.
Okay. Now, did you grow up playing golf forever, or when did you pick up the game?
I did, man. So my dad loved golf, and he wasn't a very good golfer, but my dad was the type of guy, I remember specifically, he would come and just check me out of school. And I remember one time, for instance, he checked me out and he said, "Hey, I had a dream that you were sick." And I was like, "I'm not sick." And he said, "Okay, cool. Let's go to the golf course." And that was kind of our thing. But he would never let me play competitively, and I wanted to. And I loved golf more than baseball, but we were in a baseball town, and I think he was in the competitive dad mode like so many other people, that he's, "I want my kid to be good at this game," and I made it a little far, but not too far.
So it's interesting that you mentioned the baseball background, because if you listen to our episode with Garrett Powell, he talks about carrying the American pastime. What has that been like for you? Have you had to fight that with your own golf game with the baseball background and playing at the JUCO level?
Yeah. So, I would play golf a little bit throughout playing ball. I would sneak out. We had this local country club. It doesn't exist anymore. It's called Castle Pines. It was a farm pretty much. And spent the summers out there with guys like Trey Mullinax and a lot of guys that played college golf, and we would go play golf, go to the pool, and I wasn't even a member. I just snuck out there, and I would leave baseball practice and go to the golf course because I loved it that much. So I kind of played golf with baseball. It might have been why I was such a bad hitter in college, but
unless it was a low fastball.
Yeah, low and away, man. Like, low and away. My kid, he plays junior golf right now. We're playing baseball, and he's got a good little swing on him. And one of the coaches was like, "Hey, Jax, this isn't a golf swing. Like, you got to level out the plane and everything." I said, hey, no, you pitch him low and away, bro. But yeah, so I kind of probably had a little bit of a golf swing then. And then I, around 30 or so, late 20s to 30, I started playing a little bit more competitively. We had this league around Birmingham. We called it the Good Guys Tour. And we did this like Ryder Cup thing every Black Friday. And I just fell in love, man, because I'm mega competitive. And so from there, I was just like, man, I'm going to work on this. I love sports. I would play basketball and, men's league softball, where baseball players go to die. And so I started really working on it and getting, I got obsessed like so many golfers, and, started trying to play in, our state mid-am and try to qualify for some events. I never was the guy that was at the top, but I was the guy trying to chase the cut,
Yeah. Okay.
and got the handicap down, and was just all about it, man. Traveling to wherever I could, playing at as many places as I could, taking trips with the guys. And, then I started a business in the golf industry, and now I never play. So,
So before we get to that, where do you play most of your golf now around Birmingham? Since you said it's a wasteland in Kimberly.
it is. Yeah. Yeah. So we're members at Pine Tree in Birmingham.
Okay. Yeah. Great track.
And yeah, man, it's awesome. So we joined out there in May of 2023. I went out there and I played with a friend. I would kind of go from time to time out there, and we joined because their junior program is fabulous. And every time I would go, they had these pros out there and instructors, and there was all these kids. There's like, 20, 30 of them, and they were following them around like little ducks. My kids were really young at the time. And I was like, man, I really want to have them be a part of something like this. And so we joined for the junior program, but yeah, we joined out there in late May, and then we went to the beach the next week, and I got an email that said, hey, we've lost the greens completely and we're going to have to redo them. And so we had to wait about a year before we really got to enjoy the club,
Yeah.
But it's great now, man. They've done an excellent job. I love those guys a lot.
And how old are your kids?
They're 7. They'll be 8 in about a month, right at a month.
Okay. Twins.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so used to it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun. That's fun. Do they both play?
No, my son plays. My daughter's all about softball. My wife was a stud softball player. So she was the ace on their college team. That's where we met in college. And so I'm hoping they got her athletic genes a little bit more than me, But my son's all about it, man. We travel around. We do the U.S. Kids Circuit, JGA. We just went down to just north of West Palm, Port St. Lucie, for a U.S. Kids tournament, and had a blast. Stopped by Disney on the way back, and it's the most fun I've ever. It's way more fun than me playing.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's something special about that parent-child relationship, especially. And my daughter plays sparingly. I mean, it's very rare, but that one shot that gets airborne, or I mean, they're having so much fun and they love it, or they make a putt. I mean, we were up at Sweetens Cove a few months ago, and she made like a 20-footer, and I mean, everybody in the group just lost their minds. And she's 9 years old. But it was,
not to mention, at Sweetens, a 20-footer's pretty solid.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
there was 3 ways before it went in.
Right. There was definitely some luck involved, but yeah, it's something special to share with your kids. So that's good for you. I love that you're getting to experience that. So,
oh man, we love it. I literally want to abandon my entire life just to travel around and do junior golf. It's that much fun.
That's cool. So I've not experienced a junior golf event or a tournament. I would imagine there's some comedic value of complete and total meltdowns from kids at times.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it is
but
yeah, you were up and down emotionally. You're a basket case, and I love it. I'll do it every day.
That's awesome. That's a lot of fun. So we just pure happenstance, a common friend, Mason McAnally, who is pro level physio, of course, we've had on the show. He was celebrating 1 year in business a month or so ago, and you and I met. And I don't want to steal your thunder, but tell me about StrokesGained and what StrokesGained is. You mentioned, I'm fascinated that you were able to get that name. But tell me what StrokesGained is.
Yeah, so we are a golf supplement company as of right now. We have one product with 2 different flavors, hydration product that we offer. The bread and butter of what we do is we offer our product wholesale to golf clubs. So we work with golf clubs specifically. And then really it's been about a year that we've just kind of massaged the direct to consumer, Amazon, Shopify, running ads in that space. And so it's that's really the twofold part of our business. And yeah, I think when we were talking that day, I think we hit it off because you had a Sweetens Cove shirt on.
You might have,
by the way, which is I think I was talking to someone else about it. I think that's just the coolest part of the golf subculture, right?
Yeah.
Is that you look around and you see someone, you're like, hey, did you play Quill Hollow?
Right.
Tell me about it. So,
you're absolutely right.
Anyways. Yeah. But a little background on our business with StrokesGained. So again, guy that loves to play golf. That weekend that we joined at Pine Tree, the two guys that I would go out there and play with primarily, they're in their mid 70s and they only walk that course, which you've been out there, it's a pretty elevated course, goes down a valley, comes back up, goes back down, comes back up again to finish. And they're in their mid 70s and they're walking. And so I'm a guy in my 30s. I can't let them outdo me. I'm like, man, I'm not going to ride a cart, while you guys walk. And so I walk with them. And one of the guys' names is Dr. Tom Osborne. And he is a just salt of the earth, fabulous human. And he was the guy, he's a retired kidney doctor. And so he's like, hey, we will drink water at every stop. It's super hot out here. There was a heat wave that he came through. And so we would chug water, and we chugged water all day. And we get to the 18th tee box, and I'm going back to my tees, and Dr. Tom's going up to his. And I look over, and Dr. Tom is laid over, and he's like borderline going in and out of consciousness. And so, super scary moment. And luckily, because some of the greens had started dying at that point, there was a maintenance worker coming down 18 fairway. And so, we waved him down. We're like, hey, we got to get him up to the clubhouse. I pushed 2 sets of clubs all the way up, and we found him a Gatorade, the best thing we could. He'd been drinking water all day, but he was super dehydrated.
Yeah.
And so, I'm laying down that night like every golfer, thinking about good shots and bad shots, and just had this thought that came to my mind. I was like, why doesn't Liquid IV or Element or any of these guys offer their product to golf courses? And so that led me down. My type of personality is I get obsessive very fast. And so I'm a documentary guy, right? I start studying hydration. I took hydration products myself that they're great products, really great products for, CrossFit or endurance athletes, but nothing really out there in the market for golfers, right? And so start doing a little research, and I called up one of my best friends. He lives in Jupiter, Florida. Both of us have had this entrepreneurial itch that we wanted to scratch for years. And I told him the story about Dr. Tom. And he said, man, it's kind of crazy you say that. A guy at my church, same thing happened. He was an older gentleman, passed out on the golf course because really hot there in South Florida. And he was actually the one that told me, he said, hey, we should do something. And so I was like, okay, and so we worked for a year creating a formula, not knowing what in the heck we're doing, and still to a degree don't, working on formulas, finding manufacturers, and all these little things came into place for us. And I told him along the journey, I said, all these competitive golfers now care about strokes gained, the metric of strokes gained. And I explained to him, he's a recreational golfer, and I was telling him, about Moneyball and, sabermetrics and how everything in sports has changed metrically. And so he looked it up and saw that strokes gained wasn't trademarked. And so like on that conversation, I'm on my laptop Googling, how do I buy a trademark?
Right.
And just, I think I gave Trademark Engine whatever dollar they wanted, in that moment. I just kept clicking upgrade, and about $700 later, I got the, I got in the process. Yeah. And so we've moved past. I probably didn't have to do that. Now that I've learned, we have an attorney that handles that for us and everything, and we're deepening that trademark a lot. And so that's kind of how it began. So May of 2023, we started the process, began talking about the process, and then May of 24, we took our first order to our first golf club, which was in Coleman, Alabama, Terry Ponds.
Okay. That's very cool. So it was definitely a personal experience that prompted the creation of this company. Like you witnessed it firsthand of even the guy had been consuming water the entire day. It didn't matter so did you work with nutritionists? Did you work with athletes? Like in terms of developing the formula for Strokes Gained, what did that process look like?
Yeah, so luckily my wife is a nutrition coach for a local CrossFit gym. And so I began the conversation with her, and she's also a nurse by background and a cardiac nurse. And so I really started having the conversation with her. And then, man, honestly, luckily in the last, recent years, golf is becoming a healthier sport, which timing wise for us is really good. Because of, metrics like strokes gained, they're realizing golf, like other sports that have went before them, you have to be bigger, faster, stronger, and have more endurance, right? And so it's where guys like Mason and so many other guys I think are so beneficial because we're learning so much about the body and how it performs. So, luckily for us, there are a lot of articles that are out there, peer-reviewed research on athletics and hydration, and then even specifically with golf. TPI has wrote some really fascinating things, um, as well as some other places. And so we went based off of that, and we actually crafted our formula based off of that. We realized that there's not a lot of products out there that have zero sugar in it. And if they do have zero sugar, they have a ton of sodium in it. And a lot of these companies, they use a cheap iodized salt for their product. And I understand it, lowers your cost of goods. So for us, we said, hey, we want to include pink Himalayan salt and we want to have a moderate amount of sodium as well as zero sugar. Because with a golfer, everyone sweats differently and they should talk to a physician. But for a golfer, if you have that much of electrolytes injected all at once, especially that amount of sodium, a lot of people, not all, a lot of people, they can get jittery, right? Which you and I know, you get jittery on the golf course, that's going to affect touch and feel, short game, especially if you're playing competitively, which is who we reach more than anything else, college golfers, competitive golfers, junior golfers. When you get jittery, your nerves are already there. And so it's just going to heighten whatever weakness you have that's already coming from the mind. Not to mention, almost half Americans go day to day dehydrated, not even knowing it, not consuming enough liquid or the proper liquids throughout the day. And so most guys are starting from behind the eight ball already. And then and we didn't even think about this when we got into this market. A lot of guys, when they're playing in their member guest, which we serve a lot of tournaments, is kind of becoming our niche. There's a lot of alcohol consumed, and I get it, right? You're having a good time, you're enjoying your time.
You
with
paid
the,
for
with
it,
the boys. Yeah, you paid for it, right? And so with that though, that does decrease your hydration levels significantly. And so we just say like, hey, let's just offer a health option to your members and to your players. One, I think from the club standpoint, it communicates, hey, we care about you.
Mm-hmm.
And then not to mention, especially in our clubs in Arizona, California, Florida, we've heard countless stories of at a member guest tournament or a club championship, guys who have gotten severely dehydrated while they were out there. And so this is kind of an option for them to be able to say, hey, let's put something good in your body. Right.
Right. One less transfusion and drink some strokes gained. Right.
No. And we say, hey, have the transfusion. Let's just mix this in, And
so not actually in the cocktail, but you mean just like finish the cocktail and have a strokes gained, right?
I will say, there is a very famous golfer that loves our lemon lime product.
Okay.
And he told me specifically, hey, I'm making margaritas with this. And so I'm like, okay, I guess that's better than, some of the mix you put in. And so that might be why we sold out a lemon lime.
Okay. So is that back in stock or is it still sold out?
Not yet. We're trying to get it here by PGA show.
Okay. So what makes you kind of highlighted a little bit other with the ingredients and whatnot, but what makes your product different than say a Relight or an Element or one of those as it pertains to the golfer?
Yeah, so we can go Element, for instance. That was the product I consumed more than anything else. I was in the CrossFit space for about a decade, and I think I've even told people this. Like, if you have just hit a very long, what they call Metcon,
mm-hmm.
the product of Element is going to be a better product for you post-workout than ours. The reason being is because they have 1,000 milligrams of sodium. And that's a good thing for an endurance athlete or a cross training athlete, long distance runners. And that's a great product for them. For a golfer, not quite as much. You need more of a sustained energy. that happens throughout 4 to 5 hours. And so we built our product as something that you could take before you tee off on the first hole, have it again at the turn. So it's something that's just it's slow in the system for you. It's not just going to inject a lot all at once.
Okay. And I was about to ask that just because of most sports don't have the duration that golf does. And so I was curious about a time release method or consuming multiple packets throughout the duration of your round, because I can certainly see that. I mean, I've been dehydrated plenty of times on the course. Most of the time it's my own fault that I feel that way, but I'm well aware of it. And yeah, it's not a fun place to be. And then you're just sweating profusely and it's miserable.
Yeah. Well, there's even some studies out there with golf and hydration. So a 2% reduction in your hydration, your best mental capacity and physical capacity is performing at a C+ at best.
Whoa.
At best. Yeah. So cognitively, you have decreased, which you and I both know is that 90% of the game is right here.
Right.
Right. And then from a body standpoint, being able to move and function properly, just 2%. That's all it takes for you to perform at the best you're going to do is a little above average. So hydration really is that important.
That is wild to me that it's that minimal of a decrease for that much of an impact.
Yeah. Hey, this was all fascinating to me as I was learning as well.
And you said when was the aha moment to do this and then to launch? What was that timeline like?
Yeah, so it was a year prior. I would say aha moment began with Dr. Tom and then went into a lot of research from that point. And it was almost like aha moment after aha moment, like, oh, wow. It was really exciting because we felt like, man, no one's really doing this. There are a few companies out there doing some similar things, but their business model and plan is different than ours. Like our goal, we want to reach the clubhouse first. Yeah. And so it was really because of that, we had aha moment with Dr. Tom, aha moment inside of our research, and then really aha moment inside the testing phase whenever we were sending samples out and guys were coming back. And, I remember a guy telling me, he was like, dude, this is like my Michael Jordan Space Jam. He's like, I played so much better than expected. And, I'm not promising you that you're going to go out and shoot your best round ever. It's still mental, right?
Right.
But at the same time, our goal is to put you in the position for you to perform your best. Right. And so hydration is a major, major factor that comes with that. And people really don't understand it.
So the clubhouse aspect of you being on the counter next to the ball markers and the sleeves of Pro Vs, what kind of are clubs eager to have conversations with you? Are they standoffish, or have you been able to have success there? It sounds like because you mentioned California, Arizona, Florida, and those are the Gulf states as far as I know.
Yeah. I'll give you a little bit of the journey with it because it's been really fun. So. And it just shows you, when you get into business, you have to just do things, mess them up, figure them out, and then find new ways. And so we're finding some new ways recently. But once we launched our company, we went all the way to January, and we risked like every dollar that we had to get to the PGA show. It's like a movie I watched back in the day. That was our Catalina wine mixer. Like we got to get there. And so, yeah. And so we get there, and we were at 30 clubhouse partnerships up until that point. And
before the PGA show.
Before the PGA show. Yeah. And what we did at that point in time, it's really a low ticket offer compared to the other things they do inside the pro shop. And I learned so much about how pro shops function. And before I go further, it gave me so much respect for pros at golf clubs, because those guys have to wear 5 to 10 different hats at any given time. They're landscapers, they're course architects, they're managing books, they're merchandisers, like they're people relations with members. Like so much is going on. Tournament, directors, like they do way more. I thought they just hung out at a golf course all day, and I had no idea. And so, from that standpoint, you know, we had built relationships prior to launching our product, and then moving forward, you know, we were just kind of beat the streets. We get to the PGA show and we doubled our business. So we went from 30 to 60 partnerships. And it was at that moment, you know, as a business owner, you're like, we can do this. I think this actually can work.
Well, and you had
And
to
we
feel like
offered,
there was some. Sorry, I'm going to step on your toes for a second.
yeah.
There was some level of just affirmation and success of getting into the PGA show, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, you know, I remember we were signing up for it and I was on the phone. Her name's Shirley. We still work with her directly. And I was trying like to sound so professional and like, you know, like we've been in this business of golf hydration for 30 years at this,
Right.
no. And like, please God, let us in, you know? And I don't know what I'm doing. PGA show was wild for us, man. So Mason went with us and we had the most wild experience ever. It could have been a movie. So I have my truck. I bought a camper shell to put on it. And I mean, I loaded that thing with to the brim, man. So I had him, Matt Drummond. I think you met him that day.
Yeah.
One of my best friends. He's my 4-ball partner. And so we drive down. We meet my business partner there. Got up, played golf the next day, and it was actually freezing cold in Orlando. And then we roll up next to these semi trucks and box trucks. These guys are unloading. I got my 1500 Sierra. Like, where do I go? You know? And so we go in, and you know, luckily, because of church work, I know a lot of these pop ups. And so I knew what I was looking for to set up. We had a really good looking booth. And we were in a really good area near the fitness area next to TPI. There was a lot of traffic coming our way. And so we had thought about a system on how to capture sales and leads, and I think we did a pretty good job on that. And PGA show, they help you with it. But that was it was I think it was our 5th sale that we did there. It was Quill Hollow, and I remember thinking
That's a good
I
one.
can do. Yeah, and it was, you know, before the PGA show, and it, Levi the pro that was there. We still talk often. Actually, we've become pretty good friends. But he moved to California, but it was like, right, I thought I was Superman at that point, you know. And I remember this is I got to tell this story. My business partner and I, Ethan, and he's an operations wizard, man. You know, CRM spreadsheets, he can do it all, taxes. And so Ethan is becoming a golf sicko, but he hasn't quite, you know, like he hadn't quite got there.
Okay.
And so he, these 2 pros walk up, and I couldn't get to them in time. I'd saw their name badge, and I about exited a conversation because I saw their name badge and where they were from. And he goes up and he begins this conversation. He looks down at their name badge and he goes, "Oh, Oak Hill, where is that?"
Oh God.
And I was like, "No,
Oh.
no." Yeah. And I just like stepped in. I was like, "Hello," you know, like I look like a lady of the night trying to go in over there. And so it turns out
Which
it
is
was
either
not Oak Hill,
about to host the PGA or had just hosted the PGA,
right? So
right?
turns out it was Oak Hills with an S,
Okay.
different club. I was like, oh my
Well,
gosh. And so, yeah, I know. I can feel your anxiety. That's how I felt.
yeah, I'm
And
I'm
so,
dying over here.
I know you're dying. Yeah, I was too. Well, they became customers. So Oak Hills is our customer, not Oak Hill. But yeah, so at the PGA show, we were selling, I think I have it right here. This is our point of purchase display, and this is what we were selling on that day. So you put the stick pack in there, they sell it at the counter just like a sleeve of balls.
Yeah, and for the listeners that aren't watching you on YouTube, it's a box. Looks like you fold it down, and then there's a little display case for all the little sticks. I guess is that what you call them, a hydration stick?
Yeah, stick
Okay.
packs. Yeah, and so we built 30 new relationships with that, and really wild part of the story at the PGA show when it's tear down time, and you have to stay up until a certain time. They're very strict. It's like a zombie movie at the end of it.
Everybody's
People are
gone.
just packing stuff up, and it's like when you walk out of the building, there are humans everywhere scattered. Well, I get in my truck and I'm sitting behind these semi trucks trying to go back down and get our stuff. And I got 3 different phone calls from 3 different people that are not connected in my life. And I wasn't answering because I'm like, man, I'm so busy. Why are people calling me? Well, it was at that moment that our product was featured on the Golf Channel. And
Stop.
so they were drinking it on the set. And these people were calling me like, hey, I need you to answer the phone. They're drinking StrokesGained on the Golf Channel right now.
I have chills.
And I was like, please record it. I'm not near a TV. I'm, getting honked at and cussed out right now, And yeah, so I'm like, I'm up and down on cloud 9. I'm getting yelled at. Well, we get back in my truck. We drive back towards Birmingham, and my truck broke down in Ozark, Alabama on a crazy cold night. You have to ask Mason about it. But luckily, there was this Baymont Inn. I promise you everything I'm about to tell you about this story is true. It's 11 o'clock at night. We go up. You can't go into the lobby. It's locked. It's sketchy. And my truck, we had to push it into a Mexican restaurant parking lot. I buy us a room for the night. It was like $40, which is just scary.
Oh gosh.
It was awful. Doors open to the outside,
Right.
And dude, I kid you not, we go in there and we found blood. I have video of it. And so literally we got our golf bags and we're in this room and all of us slept with like a 7-iron, and so we
Just in case.
just in case. And so I'm definitely renting a van this year. We have the proper funds to do so. But yeah, so got my truck fixed and we made it back. And we're going again this year, and we can't wait. We're just not taking my truck.
There's a path I go to my in-laws that can lead me through Ozark. I might take it just to drive by that Baymont and pay my respects.
And pull up to the Baymont. We made it through the night. We were on the top left, and someone got murdered in there. Yeah.
So you've got, and I actually have 2 of them here, and I've never done this before, but I have your watermelon and your orange.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, which of those 2 do you prefer?
Go orange.
Go orange. Okay. I even have a glass of water right here. I was like, you know what? If we're gonna do this, because I have not
Let's do this.
tried this yet, and I even have my
I'm
little,
nervous.
my little electronic whisk here. So we're gonna pour
I love this.
the orange in and get the whisk. I'm probably about to make a mess. The fact that I'm doing this with a microphone in front of me is not a good idea. There we go. We are whipping it up. Like I said, this podcast is a rudderless ship that I'm the captain of, and it's a lot of fun.
I love that.
We got the orange. Well, that's delightful. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's
good.
Big fan. And it doesn't have a bittery. It's great. It's great. I love it.
Not overly salty. Yeah.
No, not at all. And with the bourbon I'm drinking on the other side of the table over here, I need to have the hydration.
Hey, mix it in. There you go.
Exactly.
Yep. There you go.
So you did PGA show, which sounds like that was just an incredible experience. I want to get down there at some point and just witness that for myself. What other marketing channels? You mentioned Amazon earlier on, but what other marketing channels have been most effective for you other than just grassroots?
Well, I'll tell you, like after that, I think it was February. So the next month, I went and did this small show. It actually happened to be at Pine Tree for the Alabama Northwest Florida section. And, nowhere near the traffic, just a few merchandisers around. And, it's mostly just building on top of the relationships you already have. And one of the pros came up, and we had these shaker bottles. I have one right here. We have these shaker bottles. We were giving them away. We never sold one. And one of the pros came up and said, hey, could I buy those shaker bottles for my member guest? And of course, my answer is yes, you absolutely can. Everything's for sale, right? And so I said, hey, give me 24 hours to build a package. And so I built out this package as the shaker bottle. We put sticks in it, and then we have ball markers that we send with every package that comes through our website. And I took it back to him, and he said, yeah, I'm absolutely going to do this. He said, you just need to charge more for it to the next people, but I get that price. And I said, you got it, brother. And so, I mean, it was just above at cost for me. And so we started talking and we started to build out this tournament bundle package where they get the shaker bottle. And this one's Greystone right here, who we did it for. We can put their logo on it, imprinted on it. And man, we found out after that, like, this is our best revenue maker right
Absolutely.
here. And so that's really moved to the top of what we do is like, let us do a tournament first, and then we'll put that pro shop display up because the customer has already been exposed to the product while they were at a tournament. So that's kind of our 1-2 step that we do now. And we're going to PGA show this year, more so trying to sell the bundle than the pro shop display. And, and so from there, yeah, we launched on Amazon right out a year ago, last November. And Amazon, as far as the e-commerce side of things, has definitely been the greatest revenue maker. We redid our website in April, right before the Masters, and we weren't on Shopify. We had some advice to go with a different platform, and it just was awful. And so we paid the money to redo our website, make it a lot more seamless and user friendly. And so Shopify through the summer definitely picked up. And then right now we're gearing up for Black Friday. We're all hands on deck for that.
Okay. So the shaker, the shaker is interesting to me because in one of the cabinets in my home, there's probably 9 different shakers, and and even the multi-functionality of that shaker has a stickiness to it, right? Like, even if I'm putting protein powder in it, I'm still seeing your logo and being like, oh, I need more hydration packets from StrokesGained. So yeah. And if your ability to logo those up for clubs, that's tremendous.
Yeah. In this year, actually, we're going with 2 different options. So they have the shaker option that I just showed you, just normal plastic shaker bottle. And then we're going to do a metal bottle that, man, I really can't wait for this one. I was working on it today that we're getting, and they look so good. Like, it looks so, I know you probably never talked to a guy that's so pumped about a bottle. I am. Because it just looks, because we want to be a premium brand.
Right.
And this is a premium product that I think I was sending it to a lot of the local pros that, have their contact, and they were like, oh man, that's it right there. Like, do this. So we're really pumped about that. And I think at the show this year, we're really going to be able to make some noise with it.
That's awesome. What's been the biggest challenge?
I would say in the current season that we're in, learning how to run ads effectively. So, when you're working with golf clubs and courses, you asked this question earlier, and I didn't directly answer it. Has there been pushback or, a lot of no's? There have been, but it's a lot easier whenever you get face to face with a pro who already cares about their members that they have, and they just want to provide the best thing. These guys really genuinely do.
Yeah.
They want to provide the best possible products they can for their members and care for them and make it a great experience for them and their family. And so they already have that heart and that knowledge of where, and a vision really where they want to take their club. Direct to consumer, they've seen golf and they've seen hydration products, but seeing them married together and educating an audience and a community on that it's a little bit harder, and I believe will take a little bit more time, because we've had people send us messages like, dude, it's just a hydration product, like what makes it special about golf? And then they just haven't been educated on what we're trying to accomplish here as a brand, and really from a product standpoint, just knowing this is why we formulated this the way that we do. And I could go into even more about why we did what we did.
No, and that's yeah. I feel like, and I'm in a sales role full time, and there's so much about it that's education. And I feel like, but what you said early on about these other packets make you jittery. There's too much sodium. Like, that's something that it feels like it would be an immediate recognition of the importance of a golf specialized product for something. I mean, in the same way, like I had an experience a few years ago. A friend of mine gave me a cup of his coffee mixture that he drinks, and we were playing in a tournament. And on the second hole, my heart rate was over 130. I mean, beating it. I was like, that was a mistake. So I couldn't make a putt. I could barely make contact with a golf ball because my shirt was moving because you could see my heart beating. But yeah, so I can see, I feel like the people that are turning you away likely aren't paying attention to what you're saying, if that's fair.
Yeah. And we just try to take responsibility for it, that we just haven't educated or built a brand to a point to where our goal, and we have conviction about this, we want to become the health brand of golf. We got vision for so much more than just a hydration product. If I were to tell you what I think we actually can do, there's a high probability you would say I'm crazy, but that's awesome.
Right. Well, then every
I,
good company started there, right? Somebody told that person they were crazy, and that was one of the things I was going to ask you is like, what does the next 2, 3, 5 years look like for you guys in terms of product innovation, new flavors? If you could paint a picture of success for StrokesGained over the next 5 years, what does that look like for you?
Yeah. Well, to start back on it, one of the greatest challenges any startup has is their finances and how to properly utilize the resources that they have. And so we're figuring that out. We figured it out a lot the hard way. And so we have so much we want to do, but we know, and I've learned, through my life, you got to win at one thing first and do one thing well. And the first thing we want to do well is hydration. And we know it'll take time to build that. We are having talks about investors and, raising funds to be able to expedite that process. But from hydration, we have various other products that we want to do, from a beta alanine product, creatine and golf actually go hand in hand. There's a really good marriage there, to gummies. And we want to build out a nutrition system. But even more so than that, really what we're trying to do in the middle of that process is build a community around what we're doing. And honestly, that's really been the fun part, from the direct to consumer perspective. We actually have a community. The best part about being a customer for us is being on our email list, because our emails aren't salesy. We give you the business journey. We send bad reviews that people give us. We talk about how bad it sucks. I want people to see, we want people to see the guts of the business. I always wish
you're being transparent
with some. Yeah. And I think that's honestly what's driving some success for us, is that, hey, you get to see it from the ground level and from the guts. We share our failures, the ups, the downs, highlights, wins, losses. And so we're building a community. That's really our next step, is just really working on the hopper, working on the community. And then from there, man, I want to do some crazy stuff. I have some ideas that I want to do in the golf space. I want to take over the health side of golf, and from fitness.
It feels like it's open.
I think it is, man. I think there's 3 areas. So golf fitness is on the rise, of course. But man, I think there's a trinity whenever it comes to athletics, and especially with golf. Is you have the fitness side, you have the physical, or you have the nutrition side, you have the physical side, fitness, and then the mental side of it. And so we're slowly building some relationships in a few of those areas that, man, I want to empower an army one day to go and take over. And I'm holding some trade secrets back, because
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, that's more for the pitch deck I've been working on for investors, that I can't quite give, everything yet.
Well, maybe we can look back on this a year and a half from now, or maybe even sooner than that, and be like, oh, that's what he was hitting at.
Yeah.
I love your story. I love the honesty that you guys have through your reviews, like you were just talking about. Like that's kind of unheard of. People want to hide that and squelch those bad reviews, and you're like, oh no, hey, here's a bad review. This is what somebody said, and we can laugh about it and move on. But that the honesty and transparency is unique. So good on y'all for doing that.
Well, thank you, man. It's really, honestly, man, we've got an incredible community that we're building, and I would still say it's small at this point, but and again, we take responsibility as the leadership to take people on this journey of health. I mean, it's really what it boils down to. It's more than a game, it's health. You even look at golf clubs. pros are not really going to ever talk about this, but man, if you can keep a member healthier longer, that club makes more money,
Yeah.
right? And so what if we implemented, I'm trying to think about how to talk about it without giving the trade secrets. But man, what if we could implement systems, especially inside of a club, that promoted health? Yes, there's recreation and there's a social aspect, but what
Yeah.
if this is where you
Longevity.
came to be healthy? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and then there was a brand that was attached to it, just like Nike has a brand attached to great shoes or, products. And so we want that for the golf space. We're going to be aggressive on it. We got conviction with it and a ton of stinking vision that has yet to be fulfilled.
Well, congratulations on all the success. I mean, and you have the
Thanks.
name that you somehow was available for you guys to trademark. The fact that you've got that aligns
Yeah.
perfectly with the golf space and is top of mind now because look, like what you said earlier, of everybody now, especially at the highest levels of the game, is obsessed with strokes gained, whether it's
Yeah.
strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained putting. I mean, that's all you hear about. Yeah, I'm excited to keep up with your journey. I
Thanks, man.
appreciate the heck out of you telling your whole story and kind of soup to nuts how it came to be. That story about the doctor at Pine Tree is
Yeah.
remarkable. But I got a couple questions and then we'll let you
Hit
get
me.
out of here. What is the favorite new course that you played in the last year for you? Had
Oh
not played it
man,
before, and yeah,
I got to go play Bay Hill just under a year ago, and I got 2 days at it, and it was a dream trip, man. So I had the opportunity to fly down there, had a ride to the club. I got to stay on site and play one day, use all the amenities, then get up, play the next day, stay the night, and go home. And I will say this, man, with Bay Hill, it wasn't just the course. The course was fabulous. The way they treated you is 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. In fact, on the drive over there, they talked about how Mr. Palmer, he was so high on treating people well that were staying at the club because that's how you get to play there, staying.
yeah,
And so I got there the first night, and the event that I was at, we would play in the morning, do a dinner that night, and we do the dinner, and I go up to the front desk and I was like, "Hey, do y'all have any NyQuil or anything?" I had like some sinus stuff going on. I wanted to get some good sleep. I don't sleep well when I travel, and so I was like, "Man, I know I'm not going to sleep tonight, but do you have anything?" And the front desk lady was like, "No, I'm sorry." And there was this guy named Luke, and Luke had carried my bags in, and he was by the front door and by that desk, and he heard me talk about it. And so I was like, "Hey, totally fine. I'll go up. I got Sports Center on or something." I'm laying in my bed. 15 minutes later, I get a knock on my door. Luke had went to CVS,
stop.
bought me NyQuil. Not even the travel bottle, bro. It was this big. I mean, it was a fifth of NyQuil. And he said, "Hey, I just want you to enjoy your stay while you're here." He
Wow.
probably spent his own money. I mean, this is the bad guy.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm like, oh, like I am in love with this place. And then got up and played, man. So I played the first round from the tips because Trey told me to. And he was like, "Hey, you got to see it from back there." He's like, "This is the hardest place we play outside of a major." And
Whoa. Okay.
so,
I didn't know
yeah, it's
that I've ever heard that.
and here's the cool part. They were gearing up for the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Okay.
So they were putting the grandstands up. First time I got to play a course with all that. And man, it was just spectacular. It was a dream come true. And um, I played as good as I possibly could, and that place still ate my lunch, man. It was unbelievable.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So on the wall behind you, for the listeners, you
Yeah.
have a ton of hats. What hat on that wall behind you has your favorite memory other than playing Bay Hill?
Oh man. I actually don't have my Bay Hill hat up there. I think I have that in a case somewhere. Um, I would probably say, I went to the Masters for the first time this year, so I have a
Okay.
couple of Masters hats right there. I'm a poser right now. I have a Pinehurst hat, and I've never been. Um, I've got Quail Hollow right here. Levi sent me that from the tournament. I'll tell you what the most memorable one is on there. There's a Lakewood hat right here. There's a blue one on this side.
Okay, where is
and
Lakewood?
That's in Mobile.
Okay.
And the reason why it's the most memorable, my son won a huge golf tournament down there.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, man, it's really cool. So anything he's attached to now, man, I'm all about it.
If you
Or maybe even the hat that I'm wearing, that's PGA Frisco. I got to spend some time out there as well.
Oh, nice.
So,
I've heard
yeah,
nothing but great things, and all the pictures and everything
man.
I've seen look just incredible.
I'll tell you, with PGA Frisco, the most fun I had, I got to stay 2 nights out there as well. And the most fun I had it was 9 p.m. It's been right at a year. I was sitting in the hotel room, and they have that par 3 course, the swing that's out there. It's lit up at night. And it was before the God, what was that big fight last year? We were going to watch it. It was Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Everybody was like all about it. You remember? Yeah. And it wasn't, it's not, yeah, it's not going to start till like 11 p.m. So I was like, man, I'm going to go down there. And dude, I go down there. They have a putting green that is bigger than a football field, longer than a football field, massive. Wow. And they have this huge LED screen. You'll see it at the PGA Championship in a couple years. But they were showing like Monsters Inc. There was a bunch of kids out there. The putting greens just piled up with people. And then I looped the par 3, and that was the most fun I had. The courses are immaculate, but man, just relaxing and hitting some wedges and some putts on this par 3 course with people I don't know. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's great. If you had one wish for golf, what would it be?
Other than StrokesGained becoming the health brand of golf.
Yes, other than StrokesGained being the official hydration partner of the Masters. Yes.
Oh my gosh, Augusta. I snuck some in last year. I snuck some in.
Nice.
I even, dude, I'm not gonna tell you what I did because they can hear you. But there's a photo somewhere of one of our stick packs.
Okay, nice.
That I did not take, just so you know, just in case Augusta hears me. It's just they're a cult, man. They know.
Right.
Yeah.
My doorbell just rang, actually.
Do what? Yeah.
My doorbell just rang.
They're outside. Yeah. No, man. I would say from a personal standpoint, I have a few trips that I want to take. You're wearing one of the shirts that I want to take right there. Abandoned Dunes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny enough, actually, this morning I just shipped a huge case out there to PGA Magazine. They're holding an event out there. And I was like, man, I hope Bandon sees this.
Yeah.
That was this morning. I want the Bandon trip. I would like to do some overseas, the Scotland trip as well. And then in 2026, man, I'm going to travel a little bit more. And so I hopefully get to go see some of the clubs that we're partners with. But I would say overall, my personal dream for golf would just be to spend the rest of my life with my son enjoying the game. Like that is my goal, man. With StrokesGained, I don't have a ton of financial goals personally for me. I really didn't get into it for that. I'm having more fun working on this business than making money from it because I'm not really. And we will one day. The only thing financially I want to benefit from is that I want to have enough money to buy one of those Sprinter vans that's like jacked up, got the beds in the back, the LED TV, and then like me and my kid go all over the place.
Right.
I want that. And I haven't taken him to Sweetens yet. I think it's almost time. I told him I'll take him one day. We did stop by there on the way to Chattanooga one time, and I let him putt on the putting green. He was like 5, and he's been asking me to go play it. And I'm like, you're just not ready. You got to appreciate it. You're just not ready.
Yeah.
So.
That is a great answer. I get stuff kind of all over the map on that one. So, and I knew you would have something.
I don't even know if I answered your question.
I think you did. So, some people have either rules that they would like to see implemented or
Oh, I thought you were talking about personal, like my personal dream for golf. Yeah.
It's how you want to interpret it. No, I think your answer is great. It was more than sufficient. I loved it. I loved that it was from the heart. And then lastly, because it's the name of this silly podcast, do you like hitting it off the deck? And if so, why or why not?
I knew it was going to get asked. Okay, so if you would have asked me 3 years ago, I would have been the type of guy that hits it off the deck quite often.
Okay.
And then I got a newer driver that I love, and I'm scared I'm gonna bottom it out and snap it. So, and it's really the shaft and the driver that I love.
Okay.
So, I don't hit it. So I will say this: the reason why I don't hit it off the deck with the driver very much is I have a mini driver now, 13.5 degree.
I got to get one.
Oh, you have to. I am an evangelist for mini drivers.
Okay.
So
which one?
I like. It's the first TaylorMade that they had. You know, it had like the old school logos. I love it. Right. And I love that thing.
Okay.
I love it. Yeah, you have to. I had a conversation with a guy in the gym 3 hours ago, and was convincing him on why his life will get better if he gets a mini driver and puts his 3-wood up, and just every aspect about it.
So 3-wood's gone and replaced by the mini driver. Okay. All right.
Yeah, the 3-wood is now a soft fade with the mini driver. And then if I need to pull it left, I can pull it left. Yeah.
Well,
I think
I think the PGA Superstore just down the road from me is open for another hour, so I might just need to go ahead and go here. Travis, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story.
Thanks,
I'm excited to keep up with StrokesGained and all your success. I need to know when lemon lime is back in stock, because I don't know who that pro was that uses it to make margaritas, but that actually sounds like a brilliant idea. But thank you for your time. I am Josh Stecker, and this has been another episode of Off the Deck.